have seen a lot of bad things in my life. I share in doing bad things too, and good. A lot of bad things that you do in life can make you to follow that bad path majority of the time. But you can change it, do the positive instead of the negative. And that what led me this far today, by choosing the better path, the good one. What's up, guys?
Hey, comment vas-tu, monsieur? How you doing?
Hi, my name is James Riak. I was born in southern Sudan, in the capital city of southern Sudan, and the war broke out when I was just 3 years old. And my dad was a part of the politics, and so he ended up being assassinated at that duration of time, and which later on caused his family to be sent to the village, where I ended up being sent out of the village to Ethiopia with my older brother, who looked after me, and I lived in Ethiopia for 3 years and a half, where the Ethiopians have a war of their own. We lost a lot of life, and it caused us to send back to Sudan, where we're from originally, because that war wasn't ours, and we crossed back to Sudan, where we lost a lot of life, crossing the River Niles, and then at the same time we ended up crossing to Kenya, where the Kenyan government hosted us for a few years, and some of us go back to be boy soldiers, me included, and years later came back to Kenya again. Southern Sudan government agreed to with American to bring us to America as lost boys of Sudan, and that's where I end up here in America. And now I'm just living as an American in America. Since I have my children, and my children being half white and born in a multi-mixed cultural of the North American, I can see that my children are being told by society, either in school, at home, on the street, just being automatically being called American. And I can see my children struggling. They're being an American, but what about the other part of their dad? So when they came to me, I'm accepting the fact that they're American, and the society is telling them this, but they are more than that. They're African, because their dad is an African. Their dad is Sudanese from Dinka tribe, from southern Sudan. And so I set out and said, okay, my children are struggling with this society mindset of them being an American, so should I do something about it? So I set out and write the story of Riak, and wanted to be published as a book. The story of Riak started out years ago as a simple story that I used to tell my oldest son before I even have rest of the kids, before I even thought about putting it down on a piece of paper. It was the story coming from my heart. It's the true story about my life, based on my life. Riak seemed to be a third person in the story, but actually it's my full name, James Riak. But the story of Riak, fast forward years later, I look at it as become a very important story. It's special to my children. The story of Riak allowed me to escape from horrible things I've done or seen in my life. That started with the death of my father. Maybe my dad was not killed, I would have never left the country. So I always came up with the story of Riak as a part of that. Like, the story of Riak allowed me to see positive in negativity. And that what made me deal with the issues that I'm dealing with back then and even now. The aim of the story of Riak is for you to embrace you, love yourself. You see, if you don't love yourself, nobody's gonna love you. And children of all different mixed race across America, around the world, are going through, I know they're going through the same thing my children are going through. With a lot of thought and imaginations and witnessed, was imagined that hopefully it will be a book someday, but now we are here and I'm just grateful about it.
So like this one's like the red.
This is for the young generation.
Okay. So my name is Tess Filer. I am a Lancaster City resident. I grew up in Lancaster, and I'm a hand lettering artist and illustrator.
So it's not like you're trudging through the desert. You're okay.
James's story. That's what I was passionate about, how my passions and James's story combine perfectly, and so I'm so excited about this project.
This is kind of behind the cow.
All right, now.
I'm aware that the industry, the publishing industry, really wants to highlight stories of, non-white individuals. And that's really big right now, and so I'm also really excited just about the representation that this is going to bring to the children's book industry, that this is a story and a narrative that isn't told often, but now children are going to be able to read about this and read about not only children who can't identify because they're white, they're going to learn about this kind of thing, but also children that can identify are going to feel so represented and finally have a character to look up to and say, I see myself in that character.
So you can have rest of the color in, but this color never
My
changes.
goal is to bring this book to the major publishers. The major companies that publish great books in the world is where my aim is. Like, that's my goal. That if I came this far with the story already, we might just go high or go home. Now we are raising funds for the following reason. Most importantly, for the existence of the book itself, to be able to be published and all that. Also, to the fact that for the people who make this book exist, the collaborators who are working on this book with me, helping me for the book to exist, to be able to get paid for their time, because they have work and they have to take their time off from work to be able to come and help me with this. And also to be able to take me off of work so I can focus on this book to bring it to its existence. And so that's where the fund is going to go, the fund that's being raised now, and each and every one of you pinch in, I would really appreciate it. I really appreciate it because it will help me a lot and all of us to bring this book to the household and everyone in America.